Glorified Iowa poet Paul Engle once wrote, "But maybe it's up in the hills somewhere under some leaves. Or maybe it's in a ditch somewhere. Maybe it's never found. But what we find, whatever we find, is always only part of the missing." You see, Engle was able to find the beauty in the small things, and that's what made him so special as a person. He wrote about the things that other poets overlooked, and that's why I feel particularly connected to him. You see, I also look at things that other people don't see. I listen to everything around me constantly, and since I started looking at the missing that Paul Engle writes about, my life has been enriched in countless ways. So you might want to know a little bit about the person speaking in front of you, and my name is Anthony DeFino, and I'm a sophomore at Ankeny High School, and I've always noticed that I'm a bit different than my peers. So I haven't been alienated by them. It's just that I have a hard time connecting with them. I'm different because I'm more sensitive to the people around me. I'm very in tune with other people's emotions, and I can really feel them. Additionally, I'm very concerned about depth and meaning. I'm constantly looking for what's behind everything that I do, and I really want nothing more than to be able to fully understand the world. And then finally, I concern myself deeply with what's going on in the present rather than the future. And that's actually what I want to talk to you about. There's so much more we can be experiencing at any given moment, and I think that it's important that we pay attention to what's going on around us, because only through looking at everything that's going on around us can we truly appreciate the world in all of its glory. I first experienced this when I was walking between two buildings. And I know that that's hardly the place to have a revelation, but it's an interesting story nonetheless. So as I was taking this brief 1-minute walk, I was in the summer air, and I could feel the breeze on my skin, and I could hear the birds chirping overhead, and I felt the sun on my skin. And I looked up, and I looked at the cumulus clouds, and I imagined them enveloping me. I imagined myself being enveloped by this puffy whiteness. And there was something different. I couldn't comprehend what was going on around me until I started listening to my footsteps. I heard the snap of my feet on the pavement, and suddenly it made sense. Everything around me, anything that I was hearing, seeing, or feeling, could all be put into something I could understand if I put it in one footstep. And then if I could put it in that one footstep, I could put it in the next, and the next. I really hadn't grasped what I had just discovered until I was in math class. So everyone was doing their homework, and I stopped for a second, and I looked around me. I listened to everyone frantically pushing buttons into their calculators, and I heard people rustling their hair with confusion and distress, and I heard the scratching of dull wooden pencils on paper. And what nobody else would have appreciated was a symphony to me, an expertly crafted concerto in which each noise played its role. I felt the cold air on my skin, and it was at that moment that I had a revelation. That what I had done outside, that what I was doing in math class, I could do at almost any time in my life. And this was really exciting to me. So what I've seen since I've started doing this is that I have a bigger appreciation for the world around me. I understand what's going on around me, and I constantly look for this. It enriches my ability to experience the earth through my senses. So you might be wondering how you can do this too, since I've had such great experiences with it. And the first thing you can do is actually involving eating. How many times have you been told by your mothers to slow down when you eat? If I had a nickel for every time my mom said that to me, I would be wearing an Armani suit right now. But mom's right. If we were to actually slow down and savor our food, we would realize all of the pieces of beauty within it. This has gotten me in trouble though, because I realized that some of the things that I had been eating, I didn't even like. When I slowed down and actually tasted them, there was no reason for me to be eating them. But it wasn't all bad. When I ate something that I actually appreciated and I really liked, the experiences I had with it were magnified in so many ways, and it was very beautiful. And since I started living my life this way, everything around me has been seen in this way. ordinary tasks like taking my dogs out and making coffee in the morning and even eating lunch in the school cafeteria became pieces of beauty. And each one of them was independent. But when woven together, my life became this beautiful tapestry of individual moments. Another way that you can be doing this is if you stop doing your math homework. And I know that this is a funny concept, but next time you're in math class and you're doing your homework, stop for a second and listen around you. Put yourself outside of just doing your homework and put yourself in the atmosphere of your classroom, of your school, and of the world. If you listen to everything going on around you, it will be more beautiful, and you can look to everything around you, and it will be a very enriching experience. So, in our society, when we want to capture something, we immediately grab for our camera phones. Now, I want you to think about that for a moment. Think about your favorite picture in your camera phone and remember it. What's going on in the picture? What were you wearing that day when you took the picture? How were you feeling? What were you thinking? What was going on just outside of the photo? You don't remember any of this, do you? But I think, and that's why I think we should change this. Rather than spending our energy pulling out our phones, we should retrain our brains to capture every moment in the beauty that it is, so we don't have to look at a halfway version of it. So if we continue to use this, we'll gain a greater appreciation for the world. And so I want you guys to do this with me just one time, because I know that if you do it just once, you'll be hooked. So everyone, please close your eyes. I'm going to invite you to create this memory of the TEDx Youth Conferences. So think about the beginning. Think about when we were first in the library. Think about when we filed into this room and the anticipation you felt before the first speaker. Think about how funny Mike was, and think about how creative Haiti was and how inspired you were by her. And now bring yourself to the present. Listen to my voice, but don't just listen to my voice. Listen to everything going on around you. Is someone nearby moving? Is that distracting you? Let it happen. What are you feeling? Is the air cold? Is it warm? What about your chair? Is that comfortable? Are you sticking to it? And now, listen to my voice. Do you feel what I'm saying? Take a deep breath. Do you feel the atmosphere that you're in? Do you feel me on your breath? Do you feel me on every breath that you're taking? What about the people around you? Do you feel them with every breath that you're taking? Now open your eyes and take this memory that you've just made of TEDx Youth with you forever. As a society, we are so focused on being able to capture events that we've had innovations for each of the senses, ranging from scented candles, to video cameras, to camera phones, to even jelly beans that taste like Tabasco. But none of these can capture anything as well as the human brain and the senses can. So now that I've taught you this, don't grab for your cell phone the next time you feel inspired or the next time you want to capture a moment or a memory. Just go through all of your senses and remember what you're feeling, and it will be much more satisfying than taking a picture or taking a video, because you'll be able to experience the world in its fullest. So now go and make the memories of the world and experience the beauty in the smallest things that are just waiting for you to appreciate them. Thank you.